Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be budgeting for the month of July and I will be budgeting $2,023. How I budget is I will do kind of a layout for the month. So I will budget everything for the month and then week by week I will kind of adjust my budget based on my pay. I do have a full-time job and a part-time job. For my salary job, I know what I'm going to get paid bi-weekly, so I know that. But for my part-time job, the hours kind of vary. So then again, week to week, I adjust and figure out what I'm going to budget for that week. And then with the weeks as well, I use my cash planning sheet. I do cash stuff a lot of things that I budget for. I don't cash stuff everything, but I found that the cash stuffing system has really helped me to stay on budget, to know where my money's going, and to just be more aware of my spending. So I personally don't cash stuff my bills. I found that it's easier to just have a bill specific account that I use where my money automatically gets deposited there from each check. And then I have my bills on auto pay, so I know that things will get paid on time. I did try to cash stuff my bills, but it just didn't work out for me. But I do cash stuff like for spending, for different categories that I will show in my binders here. First, I'm going to start with my wallet. And this month is going to be kind of boring because I really want to bump up my rainy day fund, which is like a mini emergency fund for me. So most of my money's going there. But I do still stuff my wallet each week. For eating out, I do $20 per week. And that works well for me for fast food, quick things like that. And so there are 4 weeks in July, so that will be 80. And then for gas, I don't cash stuff my gas. I just keep that on my card and pay at the pump. Again, I found that it was harder for me to take the money out and then put it back in the bank when I just use my card. So I also have a separate account that's just for gas and groceries. So then I know that I won't spend that money on other things. So for gas, I budget that bi-weekly because for my necessities like gas, groceries, bills, I only use my full-time paycheck for those because I know that I'll get that money versus my part-time job. Again, the hours vary, so I don't want to be dependent on that money. So for gas, I do $60 every 2 weeks. So for this month, that will be 120. And then for groceries as well, I don't cash stuff that. I do pick up, so I just put it on my card. I will pull a little bit of cash out each week, just if I need to buy fruit or things like that at the store. But that's $10 per week that I pull for that. But for my actual grocery budget, I budget out $100 every 2 weeks. And that's mostly for sides and snacks. I do also buy meat and things like that in bulk, and then I freeze it, which I have that in a separate part of my budget. So then $100 per 2 weeks, that's been working well for me. So for this month, that will be 210. And then I just have a buffer, which I use the spending envelope for that, just for, if I go over in a different category, if I just want to buy a few random things at the store. I've been doing $10 per week. And so for the month, that will be 40. Now we can move on to my mini Monday. I do also like to play little games and different challenges. That's helped me a lot to save money and just to make it a little bit more fun. So for Mini Monday, I do always try to do these weekly, and I also film those, which is really fun. And then at the end of the month, whichever challenges I complete, I will reallocate those to different binders. So for Mini Monday, I always do $50 per week. So that will be $200 for the month. All right, now we will move on to my Savings Sunday. These are also fun games and challenges and things like that that are a little bit higher denominations compared to the minis, which are, less than $50. So for this, I've been doing $80 per week. So that will be $320. And I did get a bunch of new binders, and I have a video that I will put here if you're interested in watching that and watching my Happy Mail and my binder setup, which I love all of my new binders so far. Next, as I mentioned, I am focusing a lot on rainy day this month. And so right now I have $450 in here, and my goal is 2,500. So I'm going to put in $450 this month. So that will get me to close to 1,000. And that number, I kind of just picked a random number. I really don't have a rhyme or reason for that. I just felt like the $1,000 was too little. And so I was like, let me just do 2,500. And that is it for this binder. Next, we're moving on to my high priority binder. And I will stuff my important dates, which for me, that's like any holidays or events, birthdays, things like that. And I do want to stuff a good amount of money in here because I have family who are visiting in August. So I want to start saving in July for that. We don't really have anything specific planned, but just to like go out to ego shopping, things like that, I want to have money for. So I did already put in $25 because I'm skipping my first week cash stuffing because most of that money was just going to mini Mondays and saving Sunday. So I thought it was like boring to film that. But I put 25 in here already. But for the whole month, I want to put in 140. There is already $60 in here, so I figured 200 would be enough. And forgot one of my binders. Let me get it. And then we will go on to my personal binder, which in here I'm just going to stuff spending. While I'm bulking up my rainy day fund, I'm just going to use spending for anything I want to buy. So I've been putting the rest of my money into here. So for this month, I'm going to do 175. And that is all in here. And then the last thing I budget for is my dog's daycare. Again, I do have 2 jobs, so he goes to daycare like twice a week, which he really loves it. Like he's there today, and especially during the summer, they have like the pool and they do all kinds of stuff. So it's really nice. For the month, it is $288, and they do like a membership, so it's a little bit cheaper if you do it that way. And he also goes there like for his boarding, so he's really used to the people there. All right, so let me calculate this and make sure it is the correct amount. So on this side, that is $1,420. So then over here, this should be 603. All right, and that is 603. So yeah, this is a pretty simple budget for the month, but I do still like to have everything budgeted out to be able to reference throughout the month and make sure I'm on track. And if you're interested in seeing me cash stuff or like play my mini Mondays, my saving Sunday, then make sure to subscribe and come back to watch those. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye.